is fine. We know we can take this. We know we are the team that everyone wants to beat right now. Let's just focus on our strengths and go into game number 2. But this is not something where they are all of a sudden panicking. This isn't Dignitas. They are just too experienced to let that happen.
Straight into Cursed Hollow we go, and the global heroes need to be something you consider, and Team at Dignitas opens up the draft with a ban on Aether. Fnatic will answer back with the Medivh, and Dignitas needs to worry about a Dahaka here, but also something else to consider is a ban on Hanzo. Hanzo also opens up on this Battleground 2 with the boss control he brings.
And also, just to put some numbers to what we've been saying, I mean, we're talking about Dignitas being dominant, about Fnatic taking this win, but just to put a number to it, Dignitas, before this last loss on to the Spider Queen, has only lost 2 maps in the entire Phase 2. They have 21 wins, 2 losses, and then they went to the Western Clash, where they won the entire tournament without dropping a single map. So Fnatic winning at least one here is already kind of a big deal at this point. What concerns me a little bit when I look at Fnatic's drafting is that this continuous ban against Medivh is a bit of a worry. It's not the end of the world or anything, but it shows me that Fnatic is apparently not in a position. They did this yesterday too, so it's not only about them doing it today where they identified a threat on the side of Dignitas, but this is now the second match in a row, but they continuously ban Medivh. And it shows to me a little bit that they maybe don't feel comfortable playing Medivh themselves, and that might be a weakness exploited in the future. Something to keep our eyes on.
Yeah.
Not going to be a horrible thing for this match probably, but definitely something to keep in mind.
For me, it kind of speaks to the main assassins that they're willing to pull out on a map. You have, first off, they have Sergeant Hammer coming in here, but they've been willing to play a lot of Rainer in the past and a lot of Gul'dan, and both those heroes have a difficult time against Dive coming your way, so they just want to leave their draft a little bit open-ended, but definitely something to consider for sure. Medivh continues to be a main staple for them in the ban phase, and teams can exploit that later on. Dignitas opens up with the Hanzo that we were talking about, and Blaze comes out for the 3rd pick. Interesting enough, didn't get the Dahaka, which is typically the go-to for Team Dignitas. The thing is, they are the ones that actually banned it out, so they had to move straight into the Blaze.
And I like Urel as an early pick for Fnatic. I really think it's great that we are seeing this more often now for Fnatic, and that Last Hope has also improved significantly on the hero when we look towards the match that they played against the Zealots. The priority on Urel versus Deckard Cain is something that I still find interesting because we had it reflected in our previous match today, where Leftovers faced off against Method, where we had Urel towards the end of the series go into a first pick position again instead of the first pick Deckard Cain, which was up to that point very dominant. So we're talking again about the setup, and Wubi let it go. Like, he let Urel go, even though normally he really focuses heavily on that side laner. So pretty cool to see that. And yeah, question is how much of an impact is it going to have here. But I'm pretty happy with how the drafting currently works out for both of the teams here. And Whitemane comes in. Going to see Fnatic with Whitemane for the first time.
Yes, the first time that we actually saw anything about Whitemane on Twitter from our pro players was actually Smexy tweeting out, hey, Whitemane's kind of good, and it had him putting the highest amount of damage in the game in a match, and of course the highest number of healing. So I'm actually excited to see Smexy perform on this character here in the HGC.
And also, guys, hashtag HGC tweeted us at Heroes Esports, at Calder, at Trixler, and let us know what you think about the series. I mean, we had an insane match already earlier, so if you have any thoughts on Leftovers versus Method, then share those with us. But if you are hyped for the series at hand right now and want to share your thoughts, make sure to tweet that out, and we're going to show a few of those later on screen here, because this is proving to be good. Zeratul on the last pick after Johanna and Junkrat get picked up by Dignitas.
The Zeratul coming in for mana. He has showed it off a couple of times actually in the first phase, or the first part of phase 2. And this will be helpful against Hanzo in particular, being able to jump on top of him and shut him down, apply a Vorpal Blade, and threaten the idea of going for an all-in kill can make Hanzo panic a little bit and hug his Deckard Cain, which doesn't allow for him to put out the scatter arrows that he's looking for. Zeratul on Cursed Hollow, with a place with a lot of room to be able to put the damage in, is a scary pickup indeed.
Yeah, one of the things from a psychological perspective that I'm a little bit worried for with Fnatic is still, right now I think they probably just feel fantastic because they won against Zealots. Now they have the lead in this series. They feel that they echoed that every single time you talk to them, that their scrim results are really good and that they feel they can take anyone down. The question is, now that they won the first map, are they in a spot where they are, you know, euphoric and really hyped?
Sure.
What happens if they lose a map then? Is that going to crush them again, where someone gets tilted, or are they now in a spot where they're a bit more stable on the emotional side? Because nobody doubts that on the mechanical side, these people are fantastic. I mean, these are probably among the 10 best players in at least the Western scene or even the world, with a few Koreans chipped in there too. But we're going into the game, and Whoopi is currently playing on a Blaze with a Snitch on a Junkrat. Once more, Poik, of course, finds himself this time on Hanzo. We have JPL on Johanna, and we have Azalea on Deckard King.
Over to Fnatic, who is up 1-0 over Dignitas. Last Hope on Urel, Schwimpy on Sergeant Hammer, Breeze on Muradin, Mene on Zeratul, and Smexy on Whitemane, and we're already having a bit of a deviation from the builds that we typically see when it comes to Whitemane. Clemency coming on at level 1. This was actually one of the main taunts first talked about when she was released. This gives you the ability to take your Inquisition, and instead of apply it to an opposing member, put it on your teammate and heal them.
We talked about this when Whitemane first was played yesterday, that this is actually one of the builds that have been discussed for a long time. Now again, when it comes to Whitemane play, we have seen in the European region at least a very heavy focus on Desperate Plea. That has been so far the standard. But Clemency is definitely one of the talents that gives you a little bit more control about targeted heals. And that's something that Smexy, in this case, is now prioritizing very heavily. And we're going to have to find out how many adjustments are being made on his part for the build.
One of my favorite things to run with that build is also High Inquisitor at level 4. Mixing it, whenever you use that Inquisition, you get an automatic refund on your mana. So you can be a bit aggressive with your Desperate Pleas and spread them out willy-nilly. We'll see if we go that route there.
And it's also the removal of the Desperate Plea stacks, or the Desperation stack, sorry, that's really highly important. So yeah, mana control is incredibly important with Whitemane.
So far, the heals are coming out for Schwimpy as Smexy is hugging them and providing those heals with that Clemency. On the top side, though, Dignitas is breaking through the infrastructure. Webby, Poik, and Zelia working in tandem as they put damage on the fort. It's
definitely a structural race right now, and Last Hope has, of course, the self-sustain on the lane that really helps him here. But if Whoopi gets the setup together with Zelia, that might be dangerous for Urel after all. So Mene has to rotate in. It makes it a 2 versus 3, a little bit easier to deal with that spot. But down to the bottom of the map, we're still seeing Halaj and Hammer shelling away, and it's this Hammer and support combo that is trying to break through the bottom lane.
And also, Junkrat brings a little bit more wave clear than what Urel is capable of providing. So that number advantage, plus what Junkrat can bring in the bottom lane, is slowing down the damage that Sergeant Hammer is putting in. So Team Dignitas is actually winning in terms of racing on these forts. In fact, I would say they're quite destroying, as they have put Mene down to a quarter health, and this wall has yet to even fall. Completely.
Fnatic is definitely losing out heavily on that trade. Dignitas is doing a great job in the early game to counteract the Hammer pressure. Instead of setting up a defense against Hammer, they're simply saying, boys, we have the better race here, so we're just going to go and race you, and then you can either try and deal with us, or we're going to win this flat out. The attempt to lock Breeze down, not successful for Dignitas. He's still able to move away from this one. We have level 4, by the way, now also coming in. And we have the Unwavering Faith still taken by Whitemane. So not going into the High Inquisitor, not speccing into Inquisition, but instead now the Desperate Plea adjustment for the mana control for her.
Top lane still being very annoying here for Fnatic. We'll have a tribute spawning in 15 seconds to the far south. Dignitas needs to decide if they want to commit fully to the idea of pushing in this top lane, or if they want to move forward and try to grab that tribute. And it looks like if they're going to rotate. Breeze doing his best to slow that down, but Junkrat should have enough grenades to delay anyone from chilling on the south. So Team Dignitas will get down there in time.
Yeah, so that fort at the top lane is definitely a bit of a sore spot in the eyes of Fnatic now, because it's so low, so Dignitas can take it soonish. But the experience is still very much even. But the late rotation of Zeratul, because of the good wave clear that we saw from Dignitas, is a bit of an issue right now, where Fnatic has to try and stall the tribute down at the bot lane long enough so that Zeratul can make a rotation, at least if they plan on making a play for that first lane.
Hammer set up, sieges away, put some damage out. Smexy has it a laser Vable, takes that Searing Lash. Poik comes over and tries to go for an aggressive Scatter Arrow, but Schwimpy sees it and jumps behind minion waves.
The Lash is actually a really good tool for interruption here as well. So that's a fantastic tool for them to use. Just delaying that tribute really helps them. And Blaze is rotating between 2 lanes. There's no one on Fnatic's side that really keeps up with that. But Fnatic is honestly grabbing the earlier level 7 here. I'm liking that. And we have with that now the Fanatical power taken. So no cleanse adjustment here from Smexy, but instead it's again that 50% spell power.
Blaze keeping up with the push in the top lane. Zeratul doing his best to double soak as Urel peels off and runs to the bottom lane, trying to jump on top of this team fight if he needs to. She's actually going straight for the channel. But Zelia has the poke he needs to delay that. Here comes Junkrat as well. And now the fight will break out as Poik takes some pressure from Breeze.
Yeah, Breeze actually going really deep for this one, but now Shrimpy needs to move away, and that's what he does. Another few shots are hitting Breeze and also stopping his level 1 to proc the third wind here. Would of course heal him up again, but the constant interruptions that we're seeing from Dignitas make it difficult for him to get that self-sustain. Here comes Junkrat now, and Breeze needs to be cautious how he approaches the fight, but he hits the Stormbolt.
Zalian goes to the channel, gets interrupted at the last second. Urel dealing with the minion wave in the top side. Breeze taking a chunk of damage here on the bottom. That never outmatched being alive here. Poor Poik allows for him to dish out the damage. He's going straight in for Shwimpy as well, as Shwimpy sieges up.
This is a brutal fight here. I mean, this thing is taking forever. 5 minutes in, and we still don't have the first objective taken. So that tribute is still on the map, but Fnatic is now having a huge zoning opportunity here. And they're trying to use it by setting up a Breeze on Muradin and Hammer to control that choke point. But we have still Junkrat always chipping in with those grenades, and it forces Fnatic back, and they do not have that fountain available anymore. It's all Smexy at this point.
Dignitas may have had enough. Blaze rotates in the middle lane. If they need to force a fight, he can rotate in and help. Hero also in the middle lane trying to clear that out with Zeratul starting to rotate down too. Zalia starts the channel, but a Stormbolt comes out from Breeze right away as Snitch tries to dissuade Breeze from stepping forward.
Yeah, Breeze is trying to move in, but they might actually have to give this one up. Zalia finally has the position that he wanted, but no, again the interrupt as Smexy goes in with Whitemane.
This fight has been going on for 4 levels now.
This is actually insane. I mean, they're nearly level 10. They are on level 9 at this point. We're talking 5 minutes, nearly 6 minutes into this. This is absolutely crazy what we're having here for objective number 1.
I'll tell you, Zeratul's happy about this. Zeratul just wants to get 10 safely. That's all he wants to do. He wants to double soak, and this delay has bought him the time to do that. 10 is about a half a level away, and Fnatic makes the play to move up.
Fnatic is going to win this in the long run, just simply because Whitemane has still so much mana left. Zalia is in a position where he's starting to lose out on mana, so if Fnatic can hold this for a little bit longer, then Dignitas is going to run into trouble here.
Stormbolt seeps through between two, Snitch and Poik.
Do they have it?
Shwimpy's got this. Oh, wait a minute. Gets stopped there by the trap, Junkrat.
Yeah.
Able to stop Hammer, and Team Dignitas will get the first tribute of the game at 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
And as both teams have level 10. It's actually crazy. 10 is in, and that gives us the Scarlet Aegis again. Haven't really seen any Divine Reckoning yet in Europe, but crazy. Muradin also not picking his talent, what? I mean, that's going to be an Avatar. There's no way he's actually going straight into a Haymaker here. Yeah. Don't taunt me, Breeze.
I got excited.
No, like, no way. There's absolutely no way. Don't look at me like this. There's no way. Maybe
There's some way.
No, if they have a Karazim and a 7-sided, then maybe an isolation and some lockdown it could possibly happen. But even then, I would probably lean towards Avatar for them. Breeze in particular is a really, when it comes to his talent choices, he's usually very much on the safe side. He likes sustain.
But think about it. Zeratul jumps on a Hanzo. Hang on, arrow goes straight onto Whitemane as Hanzo is looking to get her picked off. Well, they comes in with a jet propulsion. Age is popped up by Smexy. He's getting the shields. He's trying to stay alive, and gosh, he is staying alive for an eternity. But eventually, he falls victim as Team Dignitas takes 4 to delete him.
And they just use 4 heroes and 3 heroic abilities. Actually make that 4. Yeah, no, sorry, 3. No, actually it was 4. No, it was 3.
It was 3. It was 3.
I'm going back and forth on it. But yeah, Johanna actually using her ult too. So 3 heroic abilities and 4 heroes to get the kill against Whitemane. I'm not sure if I really call it worth here, but yeah. It's first blood.
Whitemane's one of those heroes that you commit to, and then you realize you need to commit a little bit more. Because she just has that shield coming on at level 4. And that really allowed for her to stay alive, so Team Dignitas may be undervaluing how tanky she can be, but of course they can note that for later on. I do like the maneuver from Sergeant Hammer, like, hey, you're just dead. Just completely just jet propulsion out of there.
See you
Zipped
later.
out with the boosters, yeah. Team Dignitas make a play with Hanzo, though. This is what he does well on this battleground, is burn down the Immortals with that W build coming online, but Breeze sniffs it out. Oblivion time, and Sergeant Hammer rotates down.
Yeah, and Breeze is not the only one that's down here. Everyone is starting to rotate, and Breeze is actually deep and gets locked down and completely torn to pieces. Avatar not even being used here.
Tornado.
Just overvaluing his own survivability a bit with this. And now
Wow.
Mena into the boss route. Drops the Void Prison in an attempt to say through that. How did he die?
Man, I got destroyed there. He got hit by the boss stun. He tried to VP, and the boss stun.
He VP'd the boss. The boss stun still goes through?
I guess so.
That was pretty weird.
May have gotten rooted also. It was a boss kill.
Root could be the case, yeah, but the boss must have taken him, but he VP'd, and it really looked like he was attempting to interrupt not only the opponent, but also making sure that the boss stun doesn't kill him. Maybe there was a root on the... There can't be a root on the ground. Not on the same as the boss area.
We'll have to look at a replay soon.
Glitch detected. The boss hates Zeratul too.
Point is, Dignitas gets a curse and they get the boss. And they're pushing in the bottom lane. Sergeant Hammer is set up to control said bottom lane. But Dignitas groups up as 5 as they try to siege away themselves and get some value out of this curse.
Yeah, I mean, this curse is really now the best ticket for Dignitas to get, again, a massive lead here. And they already had that in the last game, and then Fnatic turned it around. But now we have the boss pool moving through with a curse. I mean, this is the worst-case scenario, right? Stormbolt is missing. Here comes the attempt to go for Zelia, though, and Breeze is still in deep. He has 13, has the healing static, but still barely moves out and nearly gets taken down by the boss here.
No one's here to be able to delete this bunker, so you have Dignitas having 3 members in there and they continue to siege away, and here comes the Riptire. Boom! There goes Last Hope, and this keep will be the main target. This boss is nice and healthy. BP is up in 8 seconds, so Fnatic will have a way to force this fight if they want to, but this keep is for sure going down.
I mean, this game is absolutely just... I mean, this is going down fast. With the first tribute being delayed for this long, it also made sure that once the curse is in, this is a massive power play by Dignitas. 3 levels ahead, well, 2.5, and they're already going for core. That boss is a monster at this point.
That it is. Shields go down. Breeze gets pulled in by the Lornado. Here's a VP. Lornado up at the front. JPL steps up to make sure that no one gets locked down by that VP. Suddenly, the core continues to take damage, though. Drops down to 80%, drops down to 75. But Fnatic has 5, and they're hoping to defend.
Fnatic, I mean, in an ideal world, they really need kills here. But the problem is with Breeze hitting the Stormbolt and it getting completely ignored by the what's it called? Iron Skin, there we go. By the Iron Skin and dodging out of that.
Iron Skin.
Thank you. Like, with the Iron Skin just eating the Stormbolt, they don't have an engage. Because the Void Prism was already used for the defense here, so they really wanted to chase in that situation. At least a little bit. I mean, there's still a talent down, but that's an awkward spot for Fnatic to be in. Losing that keep was brutal.
I love what Dignitas is doing here. Once you get the tidal wave going against the Sergeant Hammer, do not allow for her to reset up. They are bouncing around the map, keeping the lane pushed in on one side thanks to catapults, grabbing a night camp in the middle to have that pushing force, so someone has to defend that. Team Dignitas moves up to the boss in the top right corner. They have a solid lead, 17 to just now 15 for Fnatic, and they're hoping to continue opening up this map.
Hanzo is just stupid strong against bosses.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he chunked down twice, and that boss just was melting. So now another defense of Fnatic. Fnatic seems to find themselves in this entire match in just positions where they are getting beat on for half the game and then try to make a comeback. The early game was actually not looking too bad for them, but then losing the boss and also getting cursed was, of course, just pure punishment. And now they're trying desperately to hold on to that second key, but if this one falls, then it's going to be more than tough to come back into this.
I like the commitment to this play. They really want this keep before Zeratul hits that 16, before he gets that greater cleave. They group up as 5. They keep blinding Sergeant Hammer. She's the main threat for stopping this, so they can continue to just whittle this keep down, and there it goes. Keep is done, and that's 2 waves worth of catapults coming towards Fnatic. And now they are stuck on their side of the map with a Sergeant Hammer, 1 keep and 1 core before the game ends.
I mean, this isn't even a snowball that we are seeing here from Dignitas. They started an avalanche, and it is burying Fnatic here. A 3-level lead for Team Dignitas as they are just dominating. Fnatic needs 16, and then they're going to try and force fights. They're even fighting for that particular one now, because they're a bit afraid of another curse threat as level 20 Scion there. Dignitas is very likely to give this one up. Probably going to poke a little bit, but in the long run, there's nothing. They don't lose anything by giving it up for now, because they don't want to take the 16 versus 16 fight.
Breeze jumps in, and Zeratul's on the way. Breeze pops a Muradin Avatar, able to do that. Bunker comes in to block them in here on the right side. Last Hope uses the Art of Defender still alive, but the Junkrat Riptire goes to the back line.
Yeah, goes for Last Hope here, nearly takes him down. Void Prison is being used,
Arrow.
and here comes the arrow, and that's the end of Zeratul. Mena is dead. Snitch, on the other hand, might also fall. They get the kill. It's a trade, a 1-for-1. Is that going to be enough, though?
That was such beautiful grenades from Snitch, but also the arrow coming in from Poik to make sure to lock down Mene. Same time though, Poik is low on health, as you were mentioning. Breeze jumps in and he is full and he is willing to apply the damage, working in those auto attacks. Poik able to jump away thanks to natural agility. Wubby comes in with the jet propulsion, locks down 2. Last hope is done, and those piercing arrows are piercing through Fnatic.
Fnatic is just down for the count at this point. 7 kills against 1, the one against Snitch, the only one they could get. And it's just a matter
Boss is up.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. With the boss being up and Hanzo still being here, this should be an easy pick for Dignitas right now.
They start it, and they clear it up quick. Sergeant Hammer and Whitemane floating around the bottom side, but they can't do much against this. There's no point even trying to contest it. JPL will grab the boss, and now you have an option of Dignitas to go ahead and group in the bottom lane and push towards that core. They can grab the Giants too, and remember, they already did 28% damage earlier.
I mean, right now, you definitely go for core. This is going to be difficult enough to hold, even if there's, even if they have everyone on the map and there's no talent disadvantage. But right now, 16 versus 16, you have to push. Like, Fnatic has to push out, push past the boss, try and take the fight, win the fight, then turn around and go for somehow a defense. And I don't think they can do it. Or maybe Zeratul is dead, but so is Deckard Kane. Zeratul didn't even have a chance to drop the Void Prison. That was still on cooldown. And I don't think you can defend here, especially with now Urel falling. There's absolutely no way. Muradin hops just to safety, but that boss is already on the core.
Snitch moves up and puts out some grenades. Hanzo actually is chasing down Muradin to try and get that final kill on that back left. Shwimpy looking for a Junkrat kill, trying to find it. No BFG for 40 seconds, so he can't get that full kill if Junkrat does not give him the opportunity, while Hanzo and the rest of the team turns around and looks at the core, and it will drop down to 0. Team Dignitas ties it up as we head to game number 3 with the 1-1 score.
Great game by Dignitas. Very close early game.
Yeah.
Then once that it started to snowball a little bit, Dignitas just didn't pull any punches anymore. They just knew exactly how far they could go. They went for the first keep immediately. They took the second one at the top. Fnatic found themselves again behind in experience and behind in talents, and it made it nearly impossible for them to come back into this. I like the idea of the play to go for the night camp once that Fnatic saw that they can force and engage with Muradin and Urel jumping in. The problem was simply in this particular situation that the rest of the team was too far away.
Yeah.
If they are a bit closer, I think Fnatic wins the fight handily and then can start a comeback, because all of a sudden, as you said, the bosses are back up, and then Fnatic would have taken the boss instead of Dignitas. With the boss, they could have taken on structures and then been on a similar experience. But with everyone being so far away when the two jump in, and I mean, they had to force the fight there. But with them being this far away, Dignitas just can do too much damage. They get the first few kills, and that's just too much. But yeah, Dig is a beast. If you don't force mistakes on their hands, they're not going to make any, and they are going to take your lunch money, and that's what they did there.
They're going to take your lunch money and buy some Cheetos, and they will not care about it. We'll be right back after this commercial break with game number 3, and we'll see who will take the lead.